Stop you do you and you Lord haven't making me right. Yes, I'll be standing there.
Shalom, Israel, shalom. This is Deacon Price. Today's teaching is going to be titled The My Truth Doctrine, aka the Bobby Brown Syndrome. So, nowadays we got a people saying that they're going to live out their truth. I'm going to live my truth. It's my prerogative, right? I'm going to do what I want to do. That's why I call it the Bobby Brown Syndrome. We was once in that. I was once in that. But there's many reasons why people get into that, and we're going to hit some today. So in my encounter and conversations with these individuals, they come from mostly Christian backgrounds, some in camps, but that's still Christians. They start in one belief system, and then someone convinces them into another belief system after they find a fault in whatever they're doing, or make them believe that they can still keep part of themselves and still serve the Most High. So one might pick up a Black African movement or whatever they call it, which are just Christians talking about the land of Ham. And then you have camps, about have evil imaginations and blending their world knowledge with some scriptures and theological approaches on God and religion. They're trying to blend it in and make their own truth, just as a Christian would do. These individuals keep moving from place to place because they cannot commit wholly to anything. Therefore, they bounce around searching for a place where they can do what they want and be looked at as holy, sanctified, and be told the Creator is with them. They want to believe that they're that special treasure, even though they are fleshly and doing everything that the world partakes in. In the end, the My Truth movement are people who have many blemishes in their life that are not willing to give up. However, still want to hold on to the concept of everlasting life and direct communication with the Most High according to their own imaginations and thoughts and secret practices that they perform. However, through their lifestyles, you will see that they are just Christian Pharisees who try to appear righteous and holy on the outside, but are full of dead man bones. So some will hold to, say, I use this example all the time. One says, They used to preach, don't smoke, don't drink, and then a year later, 2 years later, you see them doing drinking and smoking. You're saying, oh, hey, you was preaching this before. What happened? And then they make up an excuse for the reason why they can do it. Well, we're going to die anyway. And what the Most High told me is that everything has to be balanced. I hear many things, but we'll see through this teaching that it's all just foolishness. It's people unwilling to commit wholly to Jehovah, and therefore they're going to create their own doctrine where they can still do what they want to do and still make it into the kingdom. And if anyone's doing that, we should know that hell lies at our door. We're ready to go to hell for doing things like that. We're not going to make it into the kingdom thinking that we have our own truth, because we are the created and not the creator. So we'll see that through this teaching. So let's get started. First, let you know we're reading out of the Sovereign King James Bible with the Paleo Hebrew Spiritual Dictionary, 1611 with the Apocrypha. Okay, let's get to the foundation. Psalms 78 and 2. Psalms 78 and 2. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old. So this is how the Most High is going to be communicating with us. And in order to unravel those parables that he's speaking to us, we must do this. Isaiah 28, 9 and 10. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. So we need to get a little information from the Old Testament, a little from the New Testament, and a little from the Apocrypha to get the understanding of these parables. Psalms 119:4 and 104 tells us what happens when we do not do this. Psalms 119:4 and 104. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. So we need to keep those precepts, here a little, there a little, diligently. Why? Through thy precepts I hate every Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. So if we're not doing it precept upon precept to get the understanding, we're going into a false way where we're going our private interpretation, where we'll form our own doctrine. It's called My Truth, the Bobby Brown Syndrome. So instead of getting what Jehovah has in store for us, you're going to make your own thing up, and you're going to be walking in your own truth, which leads you straight to hell. Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of the Spirit of God and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate, for my mouth it has commanded, and his spirit it has gathered them. You will see that in people saying that they're going to live their truth. They're going to go into many books, many novels, fiction and nonfiction, and try and start pulling information from there to tell you, to see how they came into their enlightenment of their truth. Second Peter 1:20 and 121. Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation, for the prophecy came not in no time by the will of man, but holy men of God spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost. So a lot of them is going to try to compare the books that they are reading to this one. They're going to tell you that since they don't understand it, it's also fiction. Some stuff is true, some stuff is not true. They believe in Christ. They're going to tell you all these things. Just not going to follow anything that Christ says. And they're going to go into many books. You can tell them, hey, this book is, by the people with the spirit of Jehovah in them. These are not just any ordinary, men. And they'll tell you, whatever man wrote, I don't believe it. But then they'll show you a book that a man wrote and they want you to believe it. That's another thing that I never understood. Ecclesiastes 12:12. And further by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. Is no end. There is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. So all those novels and black poetry, rituals and stuff that they read, there's no end to them. No end. So let's get into the intro to the My Truth Doctrine, aka the Bobby Brown Syndrome. It's my prerogative. We have people out there, just as we once thought that we could do what we wanted to do. Like if we were the creator, like if we didn't have any consequences to our actions. So it was interesting, and I said, let's look into this my truth. Where does it come from? So from the flesh. So let's start at Titus 1:14 and 15. Okay. Not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure for thought, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. Okay, they're going to teach you about commandments of men. They're going to give you Jewish fables. Let's go to Jewish. This is especially difficult when people already know they're in the truth and have the truth and go back to this nonsense. They can't do anything but make up lies and excuses because there's no excuse for what they've done. They just clearly wanted to just walk in their flesh. Jewish fable. So deceivers, liars, worker of flesh. This is what they wanted to stay in. Deceivers, liars, worker of flesh. Okay, so when we in the truth, but let a man take us out of it, for our own evil spirit separates us from God. Our own desires separates us. Let's take a look at that. Genesis 3:1-4. Let's see an example. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Spirit of God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. So they was given the truth, but then they let these Jewish fables, these deceiver, this worker of flesh, talk them into something contrary to the truth. Let's take a look at it. Instead of God's commandments, we listen to man. So God already gave a commandment about this issue right here, which they clearly reiterated to the serpent. But then the serpent said, no, it's going to be contrary to the truth. Jewish fables is going to turn from the truth. So this serpent right here is giving them a Jewish fable. It's going to turn them from the truth. Do people take it? Let's see. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 1:41-50. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandments of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and the festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. So this is what's happening right now. Many of us consented to this because we clearly got a law from Jehovah what to do and what not to do. But we do not believe in Jehovah, but man. Let's see why I'm saying this. Genesis 3:16-18. Wait. One second. Genesis 2:16-18. Sorry about that. And the Spirit of God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. And the Spirit of God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. So he gave us this information already. Ephesians 5:6. Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. So let's read Titus 1:14-15 again. Not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. So we shouldn't be listening to what man has to say. These lies and these deceivers and these serpents say, talking about it's my truth. No, you can do that. It's your truth, girl. You walk in that. You don't let nobody tell you can't do that. You do that. This is your truth. This is your life. This is your body. This is your existence. This is your whatever they say, because they say it. I hear it. The men too. Don't worry, King. This is no. You a God. You do this. You do good. This is your truth, King. You the king. We all the kings. not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. So when these men say these things, they're trying to put themselves in the place of God. Just as we see in Genesis 3, when Adam made that with the serpent, that conversation. You will not surely die. But God just told you was going to die. So, but we'll see as we get into this more. Titus 1:16. This is going to be another thing that they do. We used to do it too. They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. So you're going to have somebody over there who's smoking in your face saying, this is your truth, it's my truth, it's your truth. You can live the way you want. You're going to die for something. You know, hey, sister, you shouldn't be eating that pork. Hey, I don't do it every day, but you're going to die for something. It's their truth. It's their prerogative. That's basically, it's my prerogative. God knows my heart. He knows me. They profess that they know God. But in works, what they doing, they deny him. Defiling their temple, doing all works of the flesh. Everything they do, you'll see that it's carnal, it's fleshly, it's according to the flesh. They make physical altars, and I'm going to put these crystals outside, or I'm going to pray to the sun, Ra, I'm going to look directly. It's a whole bunch of things they do out there. Some of us do it here. Nothing is hid. Isaiah 29:13-16. This is that Bobby Brown syndrome. That's Bobby. Do what we want to do. Forget that we was created for a purpose, not to do what we want to do. It's a sickness. Isaiah 29:13-16. Wherefore the Creator said, for as much as his people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precepts of men. Therefore, remember, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Spirit of God, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us? And who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say unto him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? So when we do these things, this is what we're saying through our actions. Even with some of our words, this is what we're saying. It's my truth. Who are you? Who am I? I'm just a vessel here to do a job. I don't have a truth. I have the truth from where? From Jehovah. He is the way, the truth, and the life. It's funny to me when people say they have their own truth, but then they're in hardships, they seem to seek out help from other men. Where's their God that they say that they worship, and where's the help? Jehovah has been good to us. He is our protector. What has he done that we should do such a thing? Why are we walking contrary and thinking contrary? Why? What is the reason that we do this? Jeremiah 2:1-9. Moreover, the word of the Spirit of God came to me, saying, Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, Thus saith the Spirit of God, I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, the love of thine espousal, when thou wentest after me in the wilderness, in the land that was not sown. Israel, Jehovah's servants, was holiness unto the Spirit of God, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend. Full thought. Evil shall come upon them, saith the Spirit of God. Hear ye the word of the Spirit of God, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Thus saith the Spirit of God. What iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they are going far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vain? So our people, us, are walking, if we're going contrary to Jehovah, in things that don't profit us. It's just we're talking and blowing out a whole bunch of hot air, but nothing is going to save them from whatever they're going through. Why? Because they're just the vessel. They're created. What is my truth? My truth. That's very, to me, that's hateful against God. My truth. It's like you're going to do your own thing when you yourself can't do anything of your own self. When my brothers call themselves kings and they're getting locked up, I'm like, how a king get, how oh, they call themselves gods and they like, how you a god and you got locked up by a man? How you a king and you in jet? And I just say, give me the understanding behind what you're saying and the things that's going on. I don't understand why you say this. People want to stick to their own truth regardless, even if they know it's wrong. They want to just stick with it because they don't want to do right. They don't want to confess their sins and their iniquity and turn from it. They want that work of the flesh. They want that satisfaction that's temporal. Verse 6, neither said they, where is the Spirit of God that brought us out of the land of the house of bondage, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of deserts and the pits, through a land of drought and of shadow of death, through a land that no man passed through and where no man dwelt? And I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when ye entered, ye defiled my land and made my heritage an abomination. The priest said not, where is the Spirit of God? And they that handle the Lord knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal, and walked after things that do not profit. Wherefore I will yet plead with you, saith the Spirit of God, and with your children's children will I plead. Second Corinthians 13 and 5. This is exactly what we did. This is exactly what we do. Why? We want to do what we want to do. We believe it's our prerogative to live this life the way that we want to live it. 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not that your own selves, how that salvation of Jehovah is in you, except ye be reprobates. So the truth's supposed to be in you, but you want to walk after your own. You reprobate. Let's see what a reprobate is. As many of us were. Not excluding ourselves at all. Not excluding myself at all, because I was Bobby too, dancing and singing on stage. I ain't gonna lie. Ain't no need to lie. There's nothing here, It's all recorded. Reprobate, corrupted, wickedness, damned, condemned, pervert, foul, diseased, and perverse. My truth. Okay. You flesh, or you gonna have the truth of the flesh. Okay. 2 Thessalonians 2, 11 and 12. Since you want to be that way, let's see what Jehovah has to say about that. Let's see the truth of Jehovah pertaining to that issue, pertaining to that topic. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusions, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. So those who have their own truth have pleasure in unrighteousness. We just seen it. They're defiled. They're reprobates. Let's see an example of how this works. 1 Kings 22, 20, 23. The same way when I asked the question of these people call themselves gods, I said, how does a god get locked up by a man? And then it goes into another excuse, which is another lie. I can't listen to so many lies, but I listen and I just try to see where that spirit is. That's the delusion, because it doesn't make sense either way you put it. It's the delusion. They don't want to do good. They want to be unrighteous still. So 1 Kings 22, 20 to 23. And the Spirit of God said, who shall persuade Ahab, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? So let's see what Ahab means. Let's see how Ahab is moving. The father is my brother, or the other spirit. So, and the Spirit of God said, who shall persuade the other spirit, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said in this manner, and another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Spirit of God and said, I will persuade him. And the Spirit of God said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets, or his mouthpieces. And he said, thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also. Go forth and do so. Now therefore, behold, the Lord, the Spirit of God, has put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Spirit of God hath spoken evil concerning thee. So Jehovah's not playing with us when people believe they have their own truth. He's going to show his power. He's not playing those games. Let's see another example. 1 Samuel 16, 13, 14. Then Samuel took the horn of oil, anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of God came upon his beloved David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. But the Spirit of God departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Spirit of God troubled him. So whatever you want, if you want to live in what you believe to be your truth, he's going to give you that delusion that you're in, because that's clearly a delusion. That we decide that we want to follow. I don't try to wrap my head around it, but that's evil to even say such a thing. We should be grateful that we have life from the Creator in existence, and find out what he needs us to do, and find out why he spared us from all the evil stuff that we were doing and took us out of that house of bondage and move forward in righteousness and with the truth of Jehovah. That should be our only mission at this point. However, there's going to be some that's going to stick to what they're going to stick to. They're going to be on stage with their mic and speaking their truth, performing. Disease with that Bobby Brown syndrome. Wisdom of Solomon 1, 3 to 5. For forward thoughts separate from God, and his power, when it is tried, reproveth the unwise. For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin. For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit and remove from thoughts that are without understanding and will not abide when unrighteousness cometh in. So we see those examples there. We've seen that example. That's what he's going to do. Isaiah 66:4. Isaiah 66:4. I will also choose their delusions and will bring their fears, their desires upon them, because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear, but they did evil before my eyes, my understanding, and chose that in which I delighted not. So they made a decision. They made their choice. They said, I'm going to follow the flesh. These desires, this flesh is too good for me to pass up. I'm going to live in the temporal, and I don't want to have everlasting life with the spirit. I want to go to hell. Especially when people have the truth or are in the truth, know the truth. Know where Jehovah took them out from that house of bondage, from them church houses, from them whorehouses, from all other window doctrine, from them camps, to come to the truth and then to turn back and hold fast to that which is a lie, but call it truth. That's a sad thing. We should always be moving forward to endure to the end. And we should always be walking in the truth of Jehovah, because that's the only truth. First John 1:6. If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth. So let's go to this darkness, and we walking in darkness. Because those who came into the truth were given some light, and then to walk back in there and go back to those places where he took you out of, you walking in darkness, but saying that the Spirit of God is with you. How could that be? God's not a man that he should lie. Darkness, spiritual ignorance, sinfulness, spiritual blindness, and no understanding. So we lying, not God. It says, we were once lost, but now that we are in the truth, we need to stay rooted and reprove those who are contrary, conjuring up doctrines of devils. We can't do that as servants of Jehovah. We shouldn't be walking in this darkness if we know the truth, if we've been brought to the truth by Jehovah. Now you're walking with this delusion on you, in you. Ephesians 5, verse 7 to 11. Be not ye therefore partakers with them, for ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Creator. Walk as children of light. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving what is acceptable unto the Creator, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Let's go to 10 real quick. Let's read this one again, because my truth is contradictory to this. Proving what is acceptable unto who? The Creator. Now what's approvable to us or acceptable to us? We do what we do to the Creator and for the Creator, for everything that he's done for us. We need to be obedient and have the mirror image of the Creator. How can we dare come out our mouths and say that we have our own truth? Really? Our own truth? We are children in his eyes. We can't even walk. Let me go here real quick. Let me pivot. That's crazy. Genesis 2:18. And the Spirit of God said, it is not good that the man, male or female, should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. But how we got our own truth? We need help. And we having our own truth? It is not good that the man should be alone. We need the truth of Jehovah with us at all times, in all our thoughts, in all of our actions. That Bobby Brown syndrome is crazy. This is all they do when they, my truth, it's my, I'm walking my truth. This is my body, my this, my that, my this. I do what I want to do with this. This is mine. As soon as they get sick, everybody want to pray. But who you praying to? You had your own truth. You're making up your own gods. Psalms 12:2. They speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor. With flattering lips and with a double heart do they speak. Talking nonsense. Speaking vanity. Let's go to vanity. Because we waste a lot of time talking. That's another problem. We talk so much. Vanity. Talking pridefully. We love that. Emptiness. Ain't nothing going to happen what you say is going to happen. Fruitless. Producing no works. Arrogance. Truth. Okay, so let's move into vain and deceptive doctrine of men. So this is a vain and deceptive doctrine. It's telling you that basically you can do whatever you want to do, and God's still going to be with you. Basically another Christian doctrine, believing that, a man is going to die for you and you can do wrong forever. That's basically the root of this. Christianity, Christian mindset, Jewish fables. Another thing that serpent does. James 1:8. Because you had the truth, but you want to go back and dibble and dabble in the dark. Okay. But just remember, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. He's unstable. What does that mean? Unstable in all his ways. He is no understanding. Anything he does is with no understanding. Even when they talk, there's no understanding. Blaspheming the word of Jehovah when you say you have your own truth. Yet every time you're in trouble, you want to call out to him in secret. Lord, save me just this time. If you save me this time, then I'll do right and I'll start serving you. I'll start reading and I'll start. No understanding of what they're really saying when they say it's their truth. Did God do something to us that we should act like this towards him? Gave us life, creation, families, opportunity for everlasting life, and then we say we have our own truth? We can't give up things that were hindering us and was a burden to us in our first part of life until we came to truth, we can't give that up for everlasting life. Instead, we're going to live our own truth. Is it that difficult to let go of the things that you wanted to come out of? That sounds like the Bobby Brown syndrome to me. Is that hard to walk in righteousness? Okay. 2 Peter 2:14. And when I talk, I'm talking to myself. So everyone must examine their own self. We gotta be willing to give up this whole entire world, everything in it, if we're gonna walk with Jehovah. Having eyes full of adultery and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, a heart that have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children. You got some people over there with statues in their house, crystals outside, and the sun is going to bring that energy, and that energy is going to come into them, and worshiping this, weeping for Tammuz, doing a whole bunch of covetous practices. Whatever covetous practices we follow, huh? This Christmas, Thanksgiving, all these things that basically came from devil worship. But now we come and give gifts and think that the meanings change because what? We wanted to live our truth. Is now the meaning is what we want it to be? Not so. Genesis 6:5. And God saw the wickedness of man, male and female, was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So everything that we doing and thinking to do is evil. My truth, that's evil. Believing you can do what you want to do with what you were given is evil, because everything we have was given to us. Even the air we breathe, when we talk and say the blasphemous stuff out of our mouth, that air was given to us. Let's go back to 2 Peter 2:14. Having eyes, having understanding, full of adultery. So this my truth, that understanding is contrary to what was given to us by Jehovah. Sirach 23:23. So when we think like this, all we doing is committing adultery and being adulterous, disobedient to our husband. Our husband is supposed to be our head, which is supposed to be Jehovah. To those that are obedient, that's who he is. But those who have their own truth, this is what they're exhibiting. Sirach 23:23. For first, she have disobeyed the law of the Most High. Full thought. So as soon as we have our own truth, that means we're not following nothing that we were given. We're not going to celebrate no holy days. We're going to celebrate these holidays. We're not going to get married before we, and have intercourse with our husbands and wives. We're going to do it in the opposite way. We're always going to be contrary of the instructions that Jehovah has given us. And secondly, she have trespassed against her own husband. So you're going to forget everything that he says. You're just going to do you. And thirdly, she have played the whore in adultery and brought children by another man, male or female. So now you're going to do all these works of the flesh, not of the spirit. Or because what? Or because you want to live the life the way you want to live it. You don't want to pay homage to the Creator and give thanks and present your body as a living sacrifice. Instead, you want to take everything He gave and said that it was all done by your power. This is how you're going to live. You're going to tell God how you're going to do things, and He better accept it. Romans 1:30. Backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents. Proverbs 26:22-28. This backbiter, whisperer, talebearer, slanderer, secret informer. Let's see how that's operating. Hold on. Then we're gonna come back to Proverbs 26:22-28. Okay. Let's go here. Backbiter, talebearer, slanderer, whisperer, secret informer. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver drops. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit with him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Let me read that one again. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. It's a backbiter. Don't believe nothing they say. They're going to give you this elaborate lie. That's crazy. Let's see some inventions of evil things. Let's go to Ezekiel 16:24-26. Because we like to invent things, just like we invent our own doctrines. He's telling us this. We should follow the truth that we may live, but everyone has their own choice and decisions to make. I'm going to serve the Spirit of God. Ezekiel 16:24-26. That thou hast also built unto thee an eminent place, and have made thee a high place in every street. Thou hast built thy high place at every head of the way, and hast made thy beauty to be abhorred, and hast opened thy feet to every one that passed by, and multiplied thy whoredoms. Thou hast also committed fornication, we're going to see what that is, with the Egyptians, the citizens of bondage, thy neighbors great of flesh, full thought, and has increased thy whoredoms to provoke me to anger. So I just did backbiters and inventors of evil things there. But all this plays a part. All this is connected. Because you're doing these things and you're a hater of God. You're despiteful, you're proud. You boaster, you're disobedient to parents of wisdom and of the Creator. Second John 1, 9 and 10. Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ, the anointed way, have not God. He that abideth in the doctrine of Jehovah, he have both the Father and the Son. If there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed. If they ain't talking about Jehovah, they're talking about you can have your own doctrine, receive him not. If someone give you this elaborate lie telling you that you can do the works of the flesh and the works of the spirit and get into the kingdom, receive him not. You're going to see why. Let's go to John 7 and 16. Because you're going to have these people coming with their own doctrine. John 7:16. Salvation answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. So he didn't even come with his own doctrine. But these people in these streets are going to come with their own doctrine and try to get you to fall into it. In their unrighteousness, in their fables and imaginations of their heart. So what about this doctrine that he gave? Proverbs 4 and 2. He says, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. Let's see what that doctrine is. I'm focused on that doctrine, not man's doctrine. For I give you good doctrine. Forsake ye not my law. So if he's giving the good doctrine, anybody else talking that's not talking this, they're going to try to give me bad doctrine and not falling for it. I don't want to hear it. Once they start talking a different way, I don't want to hear it. Show it to me. Where? Oh, you went out of the book? Oh, nope, false way. Oh, you got to do some more studying, brother. Oh, you're not my brother. You got to do some more studying. Proverbs 35. Every word of God is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. So that word is going to shield me from unrighteousness. I'm not going to say one thing today. Next week you can see me be doing something different contrary to what I'm telling you. I'm going to be shielded from that if I keep my trust and keep on following that pure word and that good doctrine that was given. I'm not going to fall to that. And then make excuses about why I'm doing it. That's nonsense. That's a double-minded man. He's unstable. Next week we'll have a doctrine. The next week we'll have another doctrine. Everybody got a doctrine. A doctrine is a doctrine is a doctrine. We don't want those. That's foolishness. That's that evil imagination. Backbiters. Everything's a doctrine. No, we want this good doctrine, this pure doctrine that was sent. We don't want your doctrine. You keep that. And you go to hell with it. Jeremiah 10 and 8. but they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanities. So if they're not coming with that pure doctrine of Jehovah, they're going to give you some foolishness. Straight foolishness. Doctrine of vanities, a doctrine that's going to bring you nowhere, lead you nowhere. You're not getting into the kingdom with that. Second Peter 2:12. Let's see what happens with their doctrine and these brute beasts, these brutish and foolish men. Second Peter 2:12. But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. They're gonna die talking foolishness. A doctrine is a doctrine is a doctrine is a doctrine. But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not. Full thought. And shall utterly perish in their own corruption. Why? Let's go to Proverbs 1:7. He said, haters of God. You don't believe they hate God? You should see it. The desire of the Spirit of God is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. They want to make their own doctrine. They want to be on stage. They want the crowd to cheer them on. They want to be God. They want to be Bobby. They want to sell out them seats. Matter of fact, let's go there real quick. This is what they're trying to do. What was it? No, I think it's First Peter. He say, feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. They can't have that ready mind. They got their own doctrine. They don't understand things of the Most High. They brutish beasts. The stock is a doctrine of vanities, teaching nothing about nothing. Neither as being lords over God's heritage. Whose heritage? God's heritage. But you're supposed to be an example to the flock. It's time to come out of that mindset. We all once did it. We all once didn't have the truth, but if we want the truth, we need to turn that around. Titus 3:3. You got to get out of that. You only can get out of that with Jehovah. For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving divers lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful, and hating one another. But after that, the kindness and love of God, our guide, our Savior, toward man appeared. So we need to follow that and stay on that path with that pure doctrine. Desiring his laws, statutes, and commandments, not things of man and Jewish fables. Not with a dumble mind, but being steadfast in righteousness. Studying to show ourselves approved and acceptable, presenting our body as a living sacrifice. Enduring to the end. Should we not do this to obtain everlasting life? Is that too hard for us? If it is, then we go to hell. John 7:16. You're going to say it again. Salvation answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. Don't be talking your own words. Don't be following your own mind. Do the will of the Father. Psalms 119, 104, and 105. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. The word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So if we want that everlasting life, we got to follow these precepts to get there. We got to follow the word. We got to follow Jehovah. We got to be followers of Christ. That's the light. If not, you'll walk in darkness. How you going to see? How you going to find the way? Only Jehovah has the way to the Father. But some of us want to follow traditions of man. Oh, my mama went here, so I'm just doing it because they went here, and this is just the way I know. And I hear this stuff too. And I'm like, all right, well, I understand all of that, but open the Bible. You need to read, because if you're following God, you need to follow God's word. I understand some of us, walked in ignorance. We didn't always have the truth. I was in the building too. So, until I started reading, I understand that we shouldn't be here doing certain things, eating certain foods. So then, if we following God, we got to follow God, and we need to tell our parents about it too, and give them the option to change their ways from unrighteous to righteousness. They can see it all day. That don't mean they're going to change. I talk to them, I tell them for a couple of weeks, or however the Most High put it in my heart just to speak to them, and after that, then we don't talk no more about it. I have to wipe off the feet. But, if you're not going to believe the words of Jehovah, then you have to make your own decision. Just like all of us had to do, we all got to do it. That's our path. If we're going to follow the traditions of man and Jewish fables, or we're going to follow Jehovah to the kingdom. It's easy. It's an easy choice. Which one you going to do? Leviticus 2 and 11. No meat offering which ye shall bring unto the Spirit of God shall be made with leaven. For ye shall burn no leaven, nor any honey, in any offering of the Spirit of God made by fire. Let's see what leaven is. We're going to see what leaven is, and we're going to see what let's see what meat is first. Meat. No bread doctrine, right? You're not going to have my own doctrine, my doctrine. So no meat offering which ye shall bring unto the Spirit of God shall be made with leaven. Let's see what leaven is, or leaven. With corruption and sin, with evil imagination. That's where my doctrine comes from. That's that leaven he's talking about. You can't have that. You can't have that in our system. Why? Galatians 5:9. You see how when we do precept upon precept, line upon line, we get the answers to all the questions that we have. When we see things that's not right, it's going to be exposed to the truth. I got people who talk about God all day and never want to open up the Bible. I just say, hey, we can't, if you're not going to show me, then we need to talk, talk about something else, like basketball or something, even though I don't really I said, you know, it's really nothing for us to really talk about. You know, Galatians 5:9. A little leaven, leaveneth the whole lump. So don't offer that. Your doctrine, keep that to yourself. We're not going to instruct God to do anything. Oh, you have your own, I guess they're going to go when they die and go to their own heaven that they're going to create in their own mind. 1 Corinthians 5:8. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. Ephesians 4:31. We don't want that corruption and that garbage coming out of our mouths, because it's foolishness. The Spirit's not going to enter into a malicious soul. We already know that. Ephesians 4:31. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. You need to get that away from you. All that leaven, get it out. Take in this pure doctrine. You don't believe it's pure? Examine it. Precept upon precept. It won't fail you. Exodus 12:19. "7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land." 7 days until completion. That shouldn't be found with us. That corruption or that my doctrine, that should not be in us. That sickness, that Bobby Brown syndrome, that shouldn't be found with us in our houses, in our vessels. That leaven. Exodus 13:7. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days until completion, and there shall be no leavened bread be seen with thee, neither shall there be leaven seen with thee in all thy quarters. Why? 1 Corinthians 6:19. Why shouldn't we have this corruption inside us? Why shouldn't we have this leaven inside us? Why? What? Know ye not that your body is a temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own? Clearly, you're speaking of your own truth. You don't believe this. So you communicating with who and with what? It has to be Satan. Because you are the temple. But if you're talking this leaven and corruption and malice and envy and strife and all this stuff, how's the Spirit dwelling in you? When you got your own truth. How? 1 Corinthians 3:17. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. Full thought. For the temple of God is holy, separated, which temple ye are. It's separated. So none of that garbage, none of that worldly thoughts and theology and the doctrine that you came with, that shouldn't be found within you. For you, the temple of God is separated, it's holy. None of this world. So why you bringing worldly knowledge in there? Into his people. 1 Corinthians 6:16. Know ye not that he which is joined to a harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh. So if you're talking contrary to Jehovah, you a harlot. You joined to one, you joined to Satan, not to the creator of heaven and earth. That's foolishness. Then you will be speaking that of the creator of heaven and earth, not of your own. We seen that. So for the final scripture today, Amos 3:3. Well, the final three scriptures. Amos 3:3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? So if you got your own truth, that means you ain't walking with the truth of Jehovah. You ain't walking with that truth. That's a given. So you can't talk about the God that we serve is not the God that you serve. Let's see what this walk is. Ephesians 4:1. It's a different walk. I, therefore, the prisoner of the Creator, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called. If you ain't called, then close your mouth. Learn. But if you're going to hold to your own doctrine, your Bobby Brown syndrome, and then still profess that you know the creator of heaven and earth, Jehovah, Christ, you have to ask yourself this question and examine yourself. Is this you? It was me. But we got to get right. We have to get right to get into the kingdom. We can't go off on our own thoughts. We can't go off on our own doctrine, our own truth, our own understandings. We need to get that from who Jehovah is sending to us for our own good. That way we know where to walk and what is good and right to do. Because the goal is the kingdom. So again, can two walk together except they be agreed? So I hope someone was edified. This is just part one of my Truth Doctrine, aka the Bobby Brown Syndrome. We got a couple more parts to go through. And I hope someone is edified and got the understanding of what we're doing when we lean on our own understanding, making up our own truth and our own doctrines. This is not good in the sight of Jehovah. We have to stop that immediately, or we could die and end up in hell. All right, so until next time, this is Deacon Price, and I say, Shalom.
I know you, and you adore. I start you.